Okay, got the bushing all cut down. Right there. So now the set screw can hit on that, not hurt anything. Nice and free still. There you go. This is the head we're going to work on. So first thing I do is file it. Make sure there's nothing sticking up. That matters anyway. Pinch. I want to look at this head before I did it, how much movement we're going to have. Machine back where it belongs. Okay, so when you put the set screw on inside the bushing right here, it takes the bushing and the clay out of the picture. So you can find the sweet spot, tighten it down a little bit. So now the only clearance you're going to have is whatever this drill has inside this bushing, which only measured about 1.5 2 thou. Okay, so now these modifications I did, it's definitely going to cut a lot out of the edge of the hole. So you can see when you come down, see the original hole down there? Yeah, you can see a little better. It's going to catch right on the edge of it. So it's going to move the compression release in slightly, and it also angled it. So hopefully the end result is it's not here, it's more on the edge. That's what we're shooting for anyway. We'll find out, I guess. That's why we're using a junk head here. Of course, these junk heads usually I want to use on my race bikes. But I'm not using those. Okay, so our dimension that we're supposed to go for our depth is completely different now. So we have no idea where we're supposed to be. We're no longer using their numbers, so I'm just going to slide it up about 7/16 of an inch. That'd be a good starting point, I'm guessing. You can see where the old donut was from the set screw. So that's about what that is, 7/16. I don't know how thick the nut is, but I didn't measure it yet. Guess I should measure the nut before I make an adjustment. They have an 1/8 inch variance on that anyway, that number. It's actually about 3/8 of an inch different. So change our number a little bit. Pretty close to 3/8 of an inch. I was kind of in the middle of the range before, so should be close. And you're only supposed to go down until you make a full circle cut. You're not supposed to plunge it in like they did. Like I said, you're not supposed to go like this and cut way deep. No reason to. Just go down until it makes a full circle and stop. Then you probably won't be cutting through the fin like they did. Which leaves the head thicker, less chance of breaking. Okay, so this is the head we're not using. Well, actually we're not using any of these heads. We're just experimenting. The customer wants me to do an Evo set of heads, so we haven't got to the Evo yet. We're destroying twin cam stuff first. That's our preferred thing to screw up around here. Not much clearance once you put it in there, it's pretty tight. This is what the rear head now instead of the front head, so that has to be moved to the other side. See, now we got the short bolt here and the long overhang on this side now. Everything moved over a little bit. It shifted over probably just between this hole and that hole. How much things moved. These threads aren't as clean as the other ones were. You want to pull this down kind of equally so that it doesn't cock. Tight, tight. And that was already where it's supposed to be, but I got my wrench here just to make sure it's in the spot it likes. It's good. Take this out. So you can see the mark right there where it hits. I thought I was going to be able to go higher than that, but that's why I ground it higher. Same deal, find a center point. It's good. Alright, so now let's see how much we really, I don't think that bush needs to be anywhere near that tall. So we'll need about 5/8 of an inch over on that side. We're looking at maybe 3/4 of an inch is all we need to cut. We got probably an inch. That is an inch. We don't need an inch. We only need 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to lower it back down. Not quite as far as we were, but close. Should be close to that number. Okay, so now things aren't flopping around as much as they were before. Still got some clearance, but not as much as it was. We still got quite a bit. So I'm going to try to push it this way so this would come out further. Because I don't want to keep going in, I want to go out. So I'm going to try that. Of course, it's going to try to drill inward. So it's going to be a fighting battle. Once the hole starts, it'll follow. You just got to get the first 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 inch down is all you need, and then once it's cutting in, it's cutting. You can see the clearance up in here, so I'm going to push it up. And you got a little side to side to play with too. It looks like my side to side is pretty even. Try to keep that the same. Okay, this has to be done with a 1/2 inch drill motor, so I got to use this big ass thing here. Which is not exactly what I want to be using for this kind of project. And then we got to figure out we're going to hold the head so it doesn't move. We don't want the head to be moving around on us while we're trying to work. So the best way to do that is we've got this thing called a milling machine over here. We can strap it down. We try to make it really awkward to drill. But it'll stabilize the head. Nothing worse than chasing the head across the floor when you're bouncing around or off the side of the workbench. Which is what's going to happen if it moves. Okay, so take a milling machine, find something to strap onto. Probably the best thing to strap to is right on top. Like that. Pull it out on the end of the table so I got good access for me to use instead of somewhere else. So we need some big clamps. That'll work. If you do this at home, you can probably throw like a big sandbag on the thing and that'll probably hold it down, or a couple sandbags. That'll hold it pretty good actually. Plymouth. So we have more tools to use. So if you flip it over, instead of having a little small area, you got more surface area to hold with. You want this in a little bit taller on that side. And the closest stud is over this side. It puts more torque over here. If you're on this side, it holds more on this side. So we're in that room over here, so I'm going to move that over. I can slide it way over to here. Other side of the table. There we go. Things don't have to be perfect. We're just trying to hold it. So if it's more convenient to be at an angle, turn it a little bit. In my case, I'm going to thing in my way over here, so I am going to turn it a little bit. About right there, I think. Same thing on the other side. Yep, good. Kind of wiggling back and forth. I'm kind of self-centered. I'm getting a happy spot. If they're happy, you'll be happy. You don't need a ton of torque on this, but you want a little bit. Okay. Give everything a big pull and see if it moves. Seems to be solid. That's good. Get my cutting oil up, I can access. Okay, so now I'm going to be on this side of me this time instead of the other side. So this ought to be fun to figure this mess out. So how much damage can we do on the first hit? So we're going to have to figure out how much room we got here to work with. Okay, we got the flat spots here on the drill bit, so you got 3 jaws inside the chuck here. So you want those to go into that. That way it won't spin. I'm going to give myself a little extra clearance here just in case I got to move the bushing a little bit. It's the old style chuck key. Make sure it doesn't wobble. This is not a variable speed, so a lot of blip, blip, blip. Alright, let's see what happens here. Let's get our cutting surfaces lubricated. Drill bushing lubricated also, because it's going to be dragging on it. Okay, the first one is where you destroy it, so let's see what happens. Okay, so we have a little bit of movement upward, so I'm going to hit the upward. Okay, you want to get it running before you feed in, not wait until you do it. It'll jerk if you do. So I'm going to be up a little bit higher and just feed into it. most big ass drills, they don't drill very fast. So there's what we got now. We spotted off basically. We're not a full hole in there yet, but we're close. Oops, so you can see better. So I'm still trying to hold it to the outside edge. So it looks like we are a little bit closer to the plug than that, so I can kind of cheat and lean this way a little bit also maybe. You can see that's kind of bouncing around a little bit. That happens too because I don't have a stable system. Now if I drop this mill table down, I have more pressure for me to push on the drill. It looks like it's going to take some leverage, which means I need some body mass to push it through. Alright, that ought to help the pressure a little bit. Toward me and that way. Okay. Ways to go yet. Kind of committed now though. Ain't much changing it now. It is what it is. So we are now drilling into the hole. So it's going inward. Looks like I'm pretty centered up. So it's just a little bit toward the plug hole, but it's all right. It's not a perfect alignment area. A lot of room for float. Move it up again. So it'd be better if this thing was a lot lower than where it is, so get more leverage. Jam it coming up. Hard on everything. Alright, we're just starting to touch the edge. Now we'll get back and keep losing it. Alright. Good workout. You can see I just touched the fin right there. So I'm going to keep going until it cleans a full circle. Or, all you really got to go is about a 1/2 inch diameter, because that's the diameter of this washer. Anything more than that is just cosmetic. You need to be the diameter of that washer. So if you don't want to do a full circle, you don't have to go as deep. That is up to you. Of course, you can't see what you're doing in here, so I'm just kind of going for it. Okay, I bottomed out on the stop. Looks like my measurement was off a little bit. So, see, we got about 1/2 a hole right now. So we got to cut deeper, and more likely we're going to cut through that fin. So we're going to lose some of this hole on this side when we go through that fin. So I'm just going to keep plunging in there deeper until we get that 1/2 inch area we need for the compression release to seal against. More oil. Oh, you dumbass. It ain't going to cut no more if you don't raise the bushing up. I got to go quite a bit. Okay. I want about 100 thou. Probably more than I need, but I'll use that for now. See what I got. Nope, we're not there yet. Never close. So, we have a little flat spot here on the back side. We're just starting to get a washer sealing area, so you almost have enough for the washer, but not quite. And I don't think we cut through the fin yet, but we will be cutting through that pretty shortly. We're going to have daylight on this side pretty soon. Alright, so we're going to have to go down some more. My bushing was almost bottomed out. I'm going to stop.